Hey everyone, it's Shana with Dancing Daisy Designs, and I'm back. I took like a short break so that I could take care of some personal stuff, but now I'm back to doing videos, and I've got a fun project for you today. Today we're going to be doing a project using decoupage, and decoupage has been around for so long, and I found these really cool like vintage art that inspired me, so I'm going to be doing something with that in mind, and I already did a tester and it turned out amazing, so you guys are gonna love this. Here's some of the supplies that I'm going to be using for my decoupage project here. So I have these really awesome boards from IOD, and these are like what's going to make this project possible, because they've got like a thicker edge here, and that's what I saw in my inspiration post, is it had a thick edge on it. They're nice and flat, and I love it because you can stand them up this way or you can hang them on the wall. And so I've got a couple sizes here. This one's an 8x10, and then I also have this size as a 5x7. There's also 3x5s, and then there's some larger sizes as well. So this is what I'm going to be using for my project. I've also got a sweet Pickins top coat. This top coat works just great for decoupaging, as well as some of the DIY top coat products as well. So I'm going to be using this. This is just a matte top coat, water-based, that's important. And I'm going to be sealing it with a gloss, so it's going to give it that really cool like vintage look, because everything used to be kind of glossy back in the day. So this is a gloss top coat that we're going to use at the end. These are some of the decoupage papers that I pulled out to use in this project. This one is a Jamie Ray vintage decoupage paper. This is just a piece from one of the larger papers, and this is a tissue paper. I've also got a couple of the rice papers here that we're going to use, and rice papers are a little thicker and more like movable when you're decoupaging. And then I also just have some pages that I printed off of my printer, and so we're gonna use some of those as well. I always get them mixed up. I have a laser jet, so that means that the ink isn't going to run when it gets wet, so you have to have a printer that does that in order to just print. So I printed these off of my computer, and I'm going to be cutting these and using these for my decoupage projects as well. And so let's get started. All right, I'm going to be using DIY paint in cottage colors, white linen, and that's going to be to paint my 8x10 boards, just because we're going to be using rice paper and tissue paper for these. They're kind of see-through, and so it matters what's behind it when you decoupage it. That's going to help like the colors pop. So we're going to just paint all of our boards white really quick and let that dry before we start getting decoupaging. All right, I'm ready to get started with my 5x7s. And I took my pages and I just kind of rough cut them out so they're a little smaller and easy to work with there. So what I'm going to do is I put my Sweet Pickins top coat in this little cup, and it's just so simple. You just paint it on. You want like not like a super thick coat, but you don't want a thin coat. So you want like, you know, something in the middle there. The wood is going to soak up some of the moisture from the top coat, so we want to make sure that we have a generous enough layer that it's gonna stick on here. We don't want so much that it's running out the sides, but we do want a nice generous coat, just like that. And then we're going to take our page, and it's really simple. We're just going to stick it down, and I'm going to just cut the top right at the line, that way I can line it up well. All right. So I'm just sticking it down just like that. I like to bend over the edges just a little bit to make sure that it's lined up. It looks like we are going to have a little tiny bit of white over the edge there, but as you can see, it just doesn't fit perfectly. But don't worry, we have a fix for that. So I'm just getting it nice and press down. You will get some wrinkles because it's paper. A shortcut to help deal with the wrinkles, you can pick the paper back up a little bit and smooth it out, going from the center out to the edges. Using a piece of, like, this is plastic wrap, and the plastic wrap helps it glide across. You don't want to overdo this though, because you can start to pull up some of your paint colors. So I just like to make sure that because it's paper that it's down really good. So any sides that pull up easy enough, I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a little bit more of the top coat just to make sure that it's going to be down stuck really good. And then I'm going to go over with my plastic wrap. Like I said, you don't want to overwork it. Let's check these sides. This one's down pretty good, just a little bitty bit in the corner there. And all right. So the first one is stuck down, and I think it looks pretty good. We're just gonna set it aside and let it dry. So now we've got our 8x10. It's dry and ready to go. And we're gonna work on doing a rice paper first. And as you can see, the rice paper is a little large for this, so you do have to kind of plan when you put it down where you want it to be. I'm actually going to line up this bottom part pretty close to the bottom because I don't want it to look like it's floating. I want it to just kind of look more grounded, and so that pretty much everything can fit on. So I'm planning about there. So I'm gonna fold it a little bit just to help me line it up when I put it down. So I've got that ready, set that aside, and we're just gonna do the same exact thing right over the white. We're going to put down our top coat. See how easy decoupaging is? It's so easy and it's so satisfying. Wait until you see the end result. These are gonna look so good. I'm so excited. So we've got our top coat down. Make sure you got a nice even coat. That feels nice. And then we're gonna take our page and we're gonna kind of just line it up to our creases there. This way a little bit. All right, that looks good. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna use the saran wrap and I'm just gonna work from the middle out and make sure that it's stuck down really good. I'm gonna pull up some edges. Yeah, see, we need more. It'll be obvious. If you need more, it'll pull up really easy. And then, you know, you need to put down some more of your medium here for the decoupage. Okay, let's do that side and put it down. Okay, and then let's look at the other side here. Oh, that one's actually not pulling up very easy, so that's great. Just do this corner up here. Okay. Sorry about that, I hit the camera. And then we're just gonna smooth it out. Minimize any wrinkles we might have. The wrinkles generally, unless you have a really big one or like a huge bubble in there, they'll generally tighten up when it dries and just completely disappear. So we've got that going down, and now we're just gonna set that aside and let it dry. All of our decoupage is dry now and everything looks amazing. And so the next step that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of the excess on the edges, and the way that I like to do that is just use like a foam sanding block with some sandpaper. This is 220, and I just like to put it on there, and then you just kind of use it to like cut the edges of the paper. So you just sand right along the edge like this. See how it's setting it right there. And this is going to give you like an exact cut on your paper, so it's nice and straight and perfect on the edge. All right, I've got the edges off of everything. We had one disaster on this one. The sandpaper slipped and I just went straight across it like that. And so it took some of the black ink off. This is one of the ones that was printed with the laser jet printer. And so it just took some of the ink off of the paper that was decoupaged on. So I'm gonna see if I can fix that. And if I do, I will let you know how I did it. And one other thing, like some of these didn't fit perfectly, so we have an edge. Not worried about that. We're gonna address that as well and make it look amazing. And this side over here is gonna get painted a cool color that's gonna kind of coordinate with whatever the picture is, and that's where the magic is, and it brings in the vintage look from my inspiration. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to top coat this with the decoupage medium, which we're using the Sweet Pickins top coat for that. And the reason I'm going to do that first is so when we paint the edges, if we go too far over here and get any on our picture, it's going to wipe off easily because it's already sealed. If we didn't seal it first, then if we got any paint over here, it's going to stick to the paper, and then we're not going to be able to remove it and have like the nice edge or the desired look that we want. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm just going to do just a coat over the top of the picture. If there are any edges that didn't get sealed down completely, most of them look wonderful, but if there are, like here's a little tiny edge right here that's popped up, I'll go ahead and stick that back down as I do the top. And easy peasy, just like I did with the first one, just a coat over the top, let it dry, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do the fun touches that are going to give it that cool vintage look. Okay, now for the edges, we're going to work on painting those. I'm just going to pick a coordinating color. For these two, I'm going to use this color called Petticoat Pink, and as you can see, this one has some pink in it. And of course you can tell this one has some pink in it. I think that's gonna look really pretty. So for some of them, I'm gonna use like copper too. So it's gonna be really fun and different. It's just gonna depend on which one. So I'm just gonna paint the edge, and I'm gonna be careful not to get any on the front if I can, except for the very edge, because as you can see here, like we got a little bit of the white paper there. So we do wanna cover that up. I am going to go over it at the end with a little bit of gold right on the edges there, and so that's going to cover that up too, but I would like it to be pink underneath and not white. This is really simple. Like I said, this project's really simple to do. There's just a few steps involved. So I'm going to go and I'm going to paint all of these with a nice coordinating color on the edge, and once I get them all done, I will show you all the fun colors that I picked, but some of them are going to be bold and some of them are going to be nice and light like this. It just depends on the vibe of the picture that I'm doing for our decoupage project here. All right, I'm going to do these ones, and I'm going to use the copper. So I thought I would pop on here and just kind of give you a view of what that looks like, since it's super cool. And got to stir it up a bit here. Get it all ready to go. And this is actually, like, if you're looking it up, it's called Pennies from Heaven because it's copper like a penny. And it's a copper patina, which means that it has like a built-in sealer in it. And so you don't have to seal after you put it on. So I'm going to do the edges with it, just like I did the other ones. And what I like to do when I'm doing this project is I like to go in this direction. That way the little white seam that you see around the picture, I'm kind of hitting that with some copper. So I'm covering up that white. Sometimes there's a little more than, see how it got over the white there? And then it's going to kind of frame it in a little bit. It looks really pretty. So I like to do that and just go in and look at how well that covers. Really nice. I'll probably do 2 coats just to make sure that it looks like it's actual copper. I have got all of my edges painted, and I picked like a coordinating color to go with each picture. That way, you know, it would be extra cute and stuff. And some of them I went more bold with the color. Look at this. This one's my favorite right now. Look at that color with the picture. Doesn't that look great? I love that one. Couple of them I just stuck with the green. This one I was like not sure, like I wanted to go black, but then I was like, well, you know, that's a little dark for summer, so I stuck with the green. And so these are the color choices that I did. This one has like a faint pink in the picture. I don't think it shows up very well on the camera, but the pink looks really nice with it. And then these 2 like more farmy ones, I did like a green. And then of course the copper on these 2, which I think looks great. I love it. And if you look really close, you can see that I wasn't perfect with the edges. And I feel like that just gives it even more of like a handmade, vintagey look because it's not perfect. So the next step that we're gonna do is we're gonna use a Sweet Pickins top coat, and this is a gloss, and we're just going to apply this to the whole thing. I find with the paper, I usually like to, for everything, do about 2 coats over the top of the decoupaged area, just so that it makes sure that's nice and glossy. And then usually I can get away with 1 on the edges. It just depends. So play it by ear. And this is amazing top coat. This is a very strong, very, very good top coat. So I'm just going to go in. I'm going to paint a top coat on all of these on the tops and the sides, set them aside to dry, and then we're going to do a nice finisher with some gold wax. All right, I've got everything done, and I did go over everything with 2 coats of the gloss. As you can see, they look super glossy now. No more matte on these. And so I'm just going to do one last finishing touch on some of them. The ones that I did, the copper, these are done, finished, and ready to go. And remember how this one had the scrape on it? I can still see it a little bit right there, but for the most part we blended it in and it looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in my shop for sale. These ones right here are more like of a farmhouse look with the green on the sides. So I'm going to leave these as is as well, because that's just its own vibe together. On everything else, I'm going to do some gold around the edges, and that's just going to bring more of a vintage vibe in. I'm going to be using Golden Rule Wax by DIY Paint. It's a really soft wax in gold. So I'm just going to go around the edges with it, and it's just going to kind of add a little bit of a gold shimmer around the edges. And I feel like that brings like the vintage into this. And if you remember on this one, the picture was a little small for the frame, and so adding the gold over where I have the excess pink, I feel like that's really going to make it look like it's supposed to be like that, instead of, you know, we made it work even though the picture was too small. So I'm just going to go in, I'm going to add gold to these other ones around the edges, and then our project's going to be all done, and it'll be ready for me to put in my store.
The sky is blue, the sun is high, sitting here on my own. I think of you, you're on my mind, you know. To me that's alright. Green grass on my neighbor's lawn. Maybe I should take a stroll. And to me that's alright. To me that's alright. is blue, the sun is high. I'm sitting here on my own. I think of you, you're on my mind, you know. To me that's alright. Green grass on my neighbor's lawn. Maybe I should take a stroll. And to me that's alright.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really had fun making this project. It was so easy and so satisfying. I just love doing the decoupage, and it's so easy to do it on the board and then paint the sides, and I think the outcome is so good. If you guys do a version of this, please post on my social media so that I can see what you did. I would love to get some new ideas. And if you want to recreate this project or do something similar, I have a project list down below. So all of the stuff that I used to do this project, you can find at dancingdaisydesigns.com. And I'm so excited to be back, and my creative energy just really wants out, and so I'm ready to like do lots of fun creative projects and share that with you guys. So if you like this video, please make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. Give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you're passionately creative, make sure that you're putting that energy out into the world, because I think we need more of that out in the world right now. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.